What is up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the chronically charismatic Dr. Disaster, and one of my favorite arguments to get into is with someone who doesn't actually bring anything to the debate. They only have one thing they seem to be able to say. You liar! They repeat it over and over, not refuting anything with facts, but as if chanting the same thing over and over, that I am lying, is somehow going to make them correct. Personally, I love to egg these people on. I love to see them impotently type the same shit into their keyboard over and over. Liar! And that was roughly the response that I got last week when we discussed the overnight viewing figures for the 2024 Christmas special for Doctor Who. There were a number of people getting pissed off at me for bringing up the fact that the overnight viewing figures were wretched. And as you can see here, they were really bad, being just a bit over 4 million viewers. As I noted last week, this year's Christmas special was tracking 15% behind last year's. But of course, some people didn't want to hear that, and of course, I generally replied to these people saying,
if you don't like it, that's tough shit, you know?
And I like to add to that they can get mad, please, because I am a bit of a troll. But we now have the full 7-day viewing figures for Joy to the World, this year's Christmas special. These numbers came after quite a bit of a delay, because I suspect that the BBC really didn't want to release these figures, since they are so damned embarrassing for them. But we're going to talk about them here. This episode ended up way more than 15% further behind last year's Christmas special. And let me say this, for anyone that cannot handle the fact that the 15th Doctor is about as popular as anal warts, let me recommend that you go and grab yourself a tissue paper, because when you see these numbers, you'll be doing your best Ncuti Gatwa Doctor impression and bawling your little eyes out.
Goodbye.
Alright, me hearties, make sure that you like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and also, don't forget to follow me over on Twitter, where my handle is Dr. Disaster 1. But anyhow, the overnight figures were bad enough for Joy to the World, the 2024 Christmas special for Doctor Who. At 4.11 million viewers, they were on pace for somewhere around 6.4 million for the full 7-day viewership. That was approximately a 15% drop-off from the prior year's special, The Church on Ruby Road, with 7.49 million viewers. But as you can see here, the viewership for this episode tanked even harder than I dared to imagine. On a Christmas special, they couldn't even hit 6 million viewers, landing at 5.91 million. Now keep in mind that during Jodie Whittaker's first season, and she was easily the least popular Doctor prior to Ncuti Gatwa, but during her first season, she didn't have a single episode that dipped below 6 million, and I'm just talking regular episodes here. Matt Smith, David Tennant, Christopher Eccleston, none of those guys had a single episode that even came close to dipping to less than 6 million. Of course, Jodie Whittaker's second and third seasons, she saw plenty of episodes that not only dipped below 6 million, it dipped below 5. But during Capaldi's final season, and he was easily the least popular Doctor prior to Jodie Whittaker and then Ncuti Gatwa, but during his final season, he did have some episodes that dipped below 6 million, but for Pete's sake, the Christmas specials for Capaldi were always around 8 million for him. Christmas specials always get bloated viewership because a lot of households just let the TV run in the background while they're celebrating the the holiday with their family. So, that should give you some context as to how absolutely terrible the figures are for this show right now. Some people tried to spin this, repeating the media's line saying that, oh, this was one of the top shows that were watched on TV in the UK that day, neglecting to acknowledge all of the other context that I just laid out for you. The thing is, at this stage, Doctor Who as a franchise is consistently getting somewhere around a third of the viewership that it usually got during its glory days. They have squandered around 2/3 of their loyal viewers. Christmas is the one time where they're supposed to look like a powerhouse, and they just couldn't bring in the viewership. The Wallace and Gromit movie, which aired right after Doctor Who, that absolutely dwarfed the Doctor. That means people were deliberately not watching Doctor Who. It seems that most Whovians don't want to see the 15th Doctor, or, as I like to call him, Doctor.
What the hell is even that?
And that really bears itself out on the Rotten Tomatoes score for this episode. Critics gave it an 80%, because of course they did. Disney never made a gay black character that the media could bring themselves to criticize. But the audience absolutely destroyed this episode. Let's look at a couple of these critiques and get a sense of what people were really saying about the show. This person here wrote, "How disappointing. If this was supposed to be a Christmas special, it failed miserably. Unlikable supporting characters, weak plot for which the outcome made no sense, and the Doctor literally let every character down. There was no positive message at all, and the Doctor seemed to endorse petty theft as perfectly fine. Most of the cast died, the Doctor saved nobody, and those that lived were heartbroken or worse off. Honestly, the scenes with the Doctor and Anita bonding were the only saving grace of this whole episode, and an expansion of that story could have made a worthy Christmas story, but that isn't what we got, sadly. As a side note, until recent years, my family couldn't wait for the holiday Doctor Who specials. They were a seasonal tradition for us, but the show has gotten so bad we all forgot about it, and it wasn't until January 5th that one of us remembered. Needless to say, I almost wish we'd skipped it." And then this person here actually gave the show one of its higher scores on Rotten Tomatoes, 2.5 stars out of 5, and you can tell they're trying to be fair. They wrote, "It started out promising, but as has been the case with Moffat's recent writing, there is a third act issue where storylines get yada-yada'd over with vague explanations that make no sense and leave the viewer unsatisfied. And, as in the whole previous season, the Doctor is taking on the role the companion usually fills, while the companions are the ones actually saving the day. This can be a refreshing change of pace sometimes, but when it's every episode, it takes away the Doctor's agency and heroism, and makes him seem less than he has been for the last 60 years. Ncuti Gatwa is an impressive actor, but he is not being given the storylines he deserves." And yeah, that pretty much sums up my thoughts. I actually don't mind Ncuti Gatwa as an actor, but they've turned his character into a whiny little sidekick. And Ncuti the person is just insufferable, blaming all the fans who dislike the current direction of the show and calling them bigots, rather than looking inward and trying to figure out what it is that people don't care for these days. But I'll say this, and only this, in defense of Joy to the World. At least it got a higher Rotten Tomatoes score than last year's Christmas special. That one got smoked by the audience, sitting at 29%. Though, notice how not a single critic could bring themselves to give that episode, which was Ncuti's first full episode as the Doctor, but not a single one of them could give it anything less than 100%. That is how you know that these people are full of shit and simply in the bag for Disney and the BBC. But all the fake, positive reviews in the world can't save this show from itself. The viewership is imploding, and I can't wait, simply can't wait to see how bad it drops when the next season airs this spring. But I'm going to leave it there. Drop your mockery of the 15th Doctor into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.